Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. I hope you're having a good weekend. Of course, my name is Rana Kapili Bonifacio, and I'm the editor in chief of Inspirations.ph. And I want to thank you for tuning in and joining us for another episode of Love Wins Live Forum. And of course, with me is my forever partner at the Love Wins Live Forum, Managing Director of Themes and Motifs, Miss Sharon Fabian. Good morning. Should I say good morning, Miss Sharon?
Yes, hello Rona and good morning. Usual bate ko, no? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world right now or wherever I am in the world right now. Thank you so much for tuning in dito po sa ating Love Wins Live Forum. And we are so excited to be back again with you this weekend. Kasi ang ganda ng ating topic at ang siksik, liglig at umaapaw ang ating tips this morning. Kamusta ka naman, Miss Rona?
Yes, I'm doing well. It's a good Saturday. Tama sabi ni Miss Sharon, siksik-liglig at umaapaw po ang episode natin this morning because we did get tips from our wedding planners and our wedding experts and coordinators for this morning. Meron po kasi tayong, ano nga ba, Miss Sharon? Share ko na ba?
Yes, yes, go.
Hindi ko na patatagalin, no? Kasi nga sa sobrang daming tips na
Mhm.
mapupulot ko, busog na busog po. We're gonna start with none other than Kim Torres for her tips for um, soon-to-weds.
Tip na ba tayo agad, Miss Rona? O
Ay,
yung
hindi pa
ano?
pala. Ayan pala.
Oo, meron pa tayo.
Kasi excited ako sa sobrang daming ganap. Meron nga pala
Yes.
tayong bagong Tama naman yung alam nung tech na yan po yung next natin na portion. Kahit
Yes,
ako
oo.
nahilo ko. Ayan, so we do have our latest segment which is Ask Us Anything, and thank you so much for sending your question. So this is the question that we received last week. How do you know if you are already a bridezilla and how do you avoid becoming one?
Mhm. Yes, may nagtanong po niyan, pinadala sa amin through PM. So, ang question, how do you know? Siguro ayaw gusto niya i-avoid becoming a bridezilla. So, ano ba ang bridezilla? So, kinunsult ko para tama ang definition. According to, binabasa ko siya sa definition sa dictionary sa Oxford.
Oh,
Ah, a
nasa dictionary na pala
Nasa
yung bridezilla.
dictionary
Yan
ang
po.
bridezilla. Yan.
Wow.
So, a woman whose behavior in planning for her wedding is regarded as obsessive or intolerably demanding.
Uy,
Yan daw ang,
intolerably. Ang
oo, yan daw ang,
may diin.
may diin talaga siya. Yan daw ang bridezilla. So, how do you know? How do you know na parang nagiging bridezilla ka na? Ako siguro may ano ko yung signs 'no na bridezilla ka na.
Red flag ka nga.
Medyo red flag 'pag ang topic mo na lang palagi is about your wedding. Wala nang ibang topic, yung tipong
Yun nga.
ah, oo, every minute, of the day, it's all about your wedding. So, parang medyo papunta ka na dun kasi masyadong ano na, self-centered sa'yo. Obsessed ka na sa wedding. So, for me, that's a sign. And then second sign that you are already a bridezilla or starting to become one is you hindi ka na nagse-spend time with your fiancé as ano kayo, mag-fiancé kayo. You just spend time kasi with your fiancé just to talk about the wedding or to do chores for the wedding. Yan. Wedding planning na lang umiikot yung mundo ninyo. And third sign, maraming signs pero for me, third sign is um, when you expect, kasi because you're a bride,
Mm.
you expect and demand preferential treatment. Yun hindi na becoming, talagang you've become a bridezilla. Parang
Right.
may sense of entitlement ka na yon.
It's my day.
It's
Pag,
my day.
pag
Ah,
masyadong nailaba na nasabi yan na paulit-ulit,
oo.
at hindi iba ang nagsabi sa'yo kasi normally suppliers will tell you, di ba? It's your day. So you
Mhm.
should enjoy. Pero pag ikaw na yung laging nagsasabi, it's my day.
Yes, it's my day. So what will you give me? Or dapat you should because it's my day. Yan. So, yan, bridezilla ka na. Ikaw ba, Miss Rona, may sign ka ba na gusto idagdag?
Ano lang siguro kung nang-aaway ka na ng mga people around you, let's say, syempre, hindi naman ma-avoid yung disagreements, no? Hindi ma-avoid yung you don't see eye to eye with your fiancé. Pero if you're picking a fight, kaya ang pagkasabi ko is ikaw na yung nang-aaway and hindi siya yung may nangyari and so hindi kayo magkasundo. But if you are picking fights, maybe with your fiancé, with your parents or your siblings about the wedding, or maybe even your future in-laws, and
Mhm.
parang all around, everything around you is parang conflict, you might need to take a step back kasi baka ikaw po yung common denominator doon sa
Mhm.
sa
Mhm.
nangyayari. And that might be a good time for you to reassess and reflect if the wedding has taken over your relationship. As we always like to say at the Love Wins Life Forum, it's a wonderful, wonderful time, and we do celebrate wedding planning with you. But of course, we want you to have we hope that you enjoy wedding planning and that it doesn't become a source of stress, of conflict, of arguments with your fiance and your family. So,
Yes, oo.
paalala
So,
lang po, sabi nila ang red flag sa chicken lang po siya masarap, hindi po siya pwede sa mga humans.
yes, oo. So yun, and you can really pwede namang i-avoid becoming a bridezilla. Siguro at the end of the day, you just ask your question na sometimes kasi yun nga if you all you have all you've been doing is planning about the wedding or talking about the wedding, yung pinakamaliit na details. At the end of the day, there are probably some tasks or some questions na parang career question for you. Alam mo yun, tanungin mo yung sarili mo, does it really matter? Ba
Mm.
ganun ba siya kalaki ang impact? And then, if you look at it at the grand scheme of things, parang hindi naman pala, let go, 'di
Yes.
ba? Let go. Tapos
So, parang ano yan, kunwari may isang flower na hindi pala available.
oo,
Diba? Will you throw a fit? Or pwede naman
mm.
pala siyang solusyonan? Or pwedeng may ibang option?
Yes, oo. Or kunyari, Ronnie, nilalambing mong discount. 'Di ba,
Mm.
hinihingi mong 15% pero talagang maganda na yung presyong binigay sa'yo tapos sabi ng supplier, "Sige, let's meet halfway, we'll give it to you 12%."
Mm.
'Di ba yung 3%, I mean, you already got a good rate pero yung 3% ba worth na ikakonsumi mo and then you will be working with the supplier, eh. Eto na yung gusto mo, 'di ba? So, let the 3% go kasi at the end of the day, importante is your sanity, peace of mind, and of course, yung relationship that you will be building as you plan for your wedding.
Yes. Nako, meron yan. Mamaya, tune in lang po kayo. Stay here. May tayo
Yes.
about discounts and about vendor rates. So, doon ako magdadagdag later.
Yes, oo. And ako lastly, siguro we've been saying this dun sa mga previous episodes natin na we said before, just block a time kung kailan mo gagawin yung wedding mo, yung ganyan. Dadagdag ko, you take a wedding time out. Hindi
Mm.
hindi araw-araw hindi araw-araw dapat wedding ang pinag-uusapan. Let's say for this week, sure, yun lang yung weekend, yung time mo to plan for your wedding kay dalawang ng fiancé mo. But maybe you say, oh, this weekend, let's take time out and just be with each other, talk about other things, do something different, and spend time together. Learn to take time out.
Ayan, tama. So I hope we answered your question. And if you do have any more questions that you want to ask us and you want it to be anonymous, just like this one, feel free to send us a message on any of our Facebook pages for Themes and Motifs, and of course, inspirations.ph. So good morning to Annalyn. She says, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Ayan, sabi ko sa'yo, nandito na si Miss Kim Torres. Hi, Kim. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Kim.
And I see Camille Ruth is tagging a friend. So hope you are here with us already. And yes, you can still share this stream and you can tag your friends who will benefit from this episode. Okay, so without further ado, I want to present you. Next, present ka lang mo naman ano talaga. No? But here are the tips of Miss Kim Torres of Kim Torres Events for planning your wedding.
Oo, mga hacks that you should know.
Hello, lovies! I'm gonna share some wedding planning hacks to save you time, money, and stress. By the way, I'm Kim of Kim Torres Events, wedding planner and director. So, there. Okay, number one, the longer preparation, the better. Because number one, you have enough time to organize your schedule, separate work stuff, personal to your wedding planning. So you may avoid being the coupleZilla, nor the groomzilla, nor the bridezilla, or the familyzilla, the stress and crammings, right? So because number two, you may save money because you can allot your budget properly without pressure. Say every work salary or savings, you may allot it to each suppliers by schedule, like quincenas, di ba? So you may organize and delegate the budget without pressure. Because number three, as mentioned earlier, the longer preparation, the better. More time, no stress. Or you may really avoid that word stress, right? So number two, choose the right supplier for you. Then trust them and be in love with them. Because number one, no what ifs. No more changing of suppliers. No more checking out once you book that supplier you're in love with. You have to focus on them. Invest relationship with them. It really saves time. No more necessary activities of checking or browsing out, comparing rates or out, etc. Kasi it's the time na once you have a supplier na, you will check another one and then compare it, ask your friends, ask feedback. So, di ba, for that one palang time palang eh. It saves money. Sayang din the down payment if you get another one, then non-refundable yung supplier ng unang pinlook mo, tapos if you want to get another supplier, di ba? And another third supplier instead of nakasave ka, hindi mo alam, mas napapamahal ka na. And of course, doubting your suppliers will make you overthink. So wipe out all the negativity. Focus on treasuring every wedding planning moments with them that you surely look back, right? So when you have good relationship with your suppliers, the more excited you want to see them working for you on your special day. Everything will be casual. Everything will be natural and gentle. Bonus, the fun moments, right? So number three, be organized and don't be afraid to delegate. Use the power of digital. Make Excel sheets. Real-time editing saves time instead of rewriting it on your notebook or paper. Tapos mawawala, di ba? Every time na may revisions. Tapos you will look for it sa bag mo, sa drawers and all. Kasi there are so many ways and apps that you may use. So, there. But the Google Drive sheets are our best friends for filing and turnover of details. Tapos we usually teach our clients how to use it dun sa mga hindi alam. Pero iba kasi nila alam naman din nila how to use it. You may avoid losing your files. It's online. You may download it for offline editing and then you'll have a copy. Tapos yun din yung ginagamit namin exchanging files. Tapos we'll just use the links, diba? And then you may open it on all of your gadgets, iPad, computers, phone. Well, yun nga, again, as mentioned, not all or not everyone are techie, but you will have to find time to explore more kasi part na siya ng wedding planning eh. So, di ba, sabi nga nila, if gusto mo or pag gusto mo talaga matutunan, gagawa mo ng paraan. Okay? So, make your own email address. Part siya of being organized. So, you may separate work, personal, to your wedding meals. And learn to delegate. Parang sa trabaho lang yan, di ba? Wedding planning is teamwork. It's a collaboration of couple and suppliers. Delegate what you know. Delegate what you can do. For example, yung grooming for the budgeting, bride for the aesthetics, for the glam, family members for the guest list, diba? And well, of course, suppliers have their own tasks and to help. Okay, so that's part of delegation. Don't forget, you organize and know to delegate. So, ito yung last two natin, very important. Know what you want. Diba? Yung know what you want, it says all eh. Saves money, saves time, keeps you away from stress. Kasi you can tell your suppliers what you like. So by this, hindi ka lost. Hindi lost yung suppliers mo na kinakapaka of what you want. Diba? Remember, hindi yung suppliers mo yung ikakasal. Ikaw yung ikakasal. Kayo yung couple. So you have to tell what you want. You have to tell your suppliers what you want them to execute for you or you want to see on your wedding para ma-execute ng tama ng suppliers yung mga gusto mo. Kasi again, collaboration pa rin naman siya with the suppliers and you, but maganda kasi nanggagaling sa iyo what you really want and kung ano yung mga ayaw mo. Kasi para maiwasan natin yung repetitive work and wrong executions. Kasi wrong execution will lead us to redoing the work again. Tapos parang yung time natin, di ba, nauulit din siya. And again, expenses rin yun. And lastly, know your priorities. Your reason of getting married and why celebrate it to a bigger or smaller group. Grand feels or intimate mood, what you want them to experience and or what you want to remember after 10 years or more. And this is not about just pleasing your guest or anyone else. It's a celebration of love shared between you and your partner as you embark on this exciting new chapter together. Just enjoy every moment, have fun during the wedding planning journey, and you'll not regret looking back. So, yun. Word, just enjoy every moment. Minsan lang to, one take lang to, and yun naman yung gusto mo maalala, yung just the happy moment. So guys, lovies, happy wedding planning! Mwah!
Ayun, di ba? Ang dami-daming tips na nabigay ni Miss
Isa pa lang
Kim.
yan.
Yes, thank you so much, Kim. I hope that marami kayong na-pick up doon. Ano bang favorite mo doon, Miss Sharon? May favorite ka ba doon?
Wala kang pwedeng tanggalin eh kasi very encompassing and comprehensive siya. So ako ang tip ko lang after hearing the tips and hacks ni Kim Torres is kung na-miss out nyo, hindi nyo na-take down notes, you can watch this again. Pwede
Tama.
po i-replay itong video na to. Yan lang ang yan ang takeaway ko. Kasi syempre medyo short yung time, no? And she has to give all the points. But it's really worth taking note of everything that she said. After all, alam natin si Kim Torres, one of the most sought after and busiest wedding planners yan. Walang pandemic kay Kim Torres.
Correct.
And most of what she shared with us based on real experience yan, working with real couples yan. So please, when you na-catch, i-ano nyo lang to, i-replay. Mamaya, wag ngayon. May ibang tips pa tayo.
Yes, good morning to everybody who's saying good morning. We're going to share our tips also very quickly. So one of our tips so that you can save money is to go local or seasonal with food and flowers. So we've said this in a past broadcast, no? a lot of our pegs, if they are from online, often they are Western. So meron po silang mga flowers and blooms na hindi po natural sa ating tropical weather. And so if you want the exact arrangement, it can be done, but it may be costly. But if you are flexible enough na this general look, tapos ibigay mo sa stylist mo, kaya po nila yan gawan ng paraan, or they can create one that is very similar using our
The
local
local.
blooms, so that you can save on your bouquets. Alright? So next, syempre nag-next ako. Ito yung next natin. Ayan, from Leah Wedding.
Hi guys, I'm Leah from Leah Weddings. My wedding planning hack for all of you couples to save time, money, and stress is to start your wedding planning with a vision board. So when you start planning your wedding, you really have to know what the direction of that wedding will be. How do you want it to look like? What colors do you want to be there? How does it reflect your personality as a person, as a couple? No, is it very reflective of who you are? No, so when you start with a vision board, you know where your wedding is headed. And of course, it's very important because when you start inquiring with your suppliers, particularly your florist, your stylist, you really get the actual costs of the stuff that you wanted to book because they already see and they also know what you are envisioning. It's hard to book just book a supplier without that supplier knowing what you want. No, so you save your time, your money, and of course, you don't have much stress because there will not be miscommunication because it's all on paper. It's black and white, what you want or how you envision your wedding to be. So good luck in all of your wedding planning and best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Ayan, so this is another tip from Leah Weddings. Start with a vision board. Very important po yan. And you can already go digital with your vision board. Hindi na po tayo kailangan magpa-scrapbook. And I think most wedding planners will really ask you for this, no? Your vision board. Okay, our next tip is to get rid of the things you don't want or you don't need. So lalo applicable po yan sa mga all-in wedding packages. Sometimes there are things in our wedding packages na hindi naman po importante para sa inyo as a couple. So very much like what Kim and Leah said, if you know what you want, alam mo na rin yung hindi mo gusto at pwede mong tanggalin. At when you do ask for that to be removed or for an option, makakatipid ka. Kasi hindi mo na yung kailangan eh. Baka pwedeng iba na lang na instead of paying an extra for that, it will already be part of the package. Ayan. So, next tip, Miss Sharon, or do you want to share something? Oh, sorry, you're on mute.
Sabi ko, Miss Rona, mamaya na lang sa summary kasi baka matouch, the point I'm going to share, matouch naman nung next point natin.
Yan. Okay, so next is from Kathy Ibuen of Events Embassy.
Hi everyone, this is Kathy of Events Embassy and I will be sharing to you some wedding hacks. First, you may ask your female entourage to do their own makeup to save time in the prep area and limit the number of persons entering the room of the bride, and also to save money because you will not pay for their makeup. Second is what we call drive-through type of reception, meaning you will still be having a ceremony following the protocols. Then afterwards, guests will proceed to your reception venue, wherein guests will pick up what we call to-go set meals and souvenirs and have photo with the couple. But the catch is, guests will just stay in their cars as to practice social distancing, and this will save money since your rental will only be minimal, save your time as well as your guests' time, and you don't need to worry about the curfew and save you from the stress with regards to the safety of everyone. That's all.
I love the tip of Kathy, no? Very
Yes.
useful yung drive-by reception, lalo kung hindi ka pa comfortable
Mhm.
to host a social gathering, but you do want to still invite or see your loved ones.
Yes, I was gonna say na ang tip ni Kathy is very timely for what's happening right now. You don't know if you're gonna push through or not. If I push through, ano ba ang options available for me? What is the best way to go about it? So, napakagandang tips and hacks yan na celebrate mo yung wedding mo with friends and loved ones pa rin. And there's the cost efficient way of doing it and also the safest way of doing it now. Kung hindi ka pa brave to really have an in-person get together. Of course, we all know si Kathy Abuen is from Events Embassy and one of the well-loved wedding planners yan in the metro kasi uh, ibang klase mag-alaga talaga ng couple, si Miss Kathy.
Ayan. So, lalo ngayon, no, alert 4 po tayo. At least if you're in Metro Manila, very, very applicable po yung kanyang tip. Alright, so our next tip, okay, is from Maria's, I think it's from Maria's Affairs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Ayan, Maria's Affairs by BFG. So, whether your wedding is a year or two from today, the perfect time to book your vendors is now. Almost all vendors' rates are still the old rates, and most of them offer promos and freebies. So, should they have a price increase in the future, at least you still get the advantage of the discount or freebies. And most importantly, you have secured the slot. Because one thing is for sure, once everything goes back to normal, there will be an increase in rates and bookings, which may make it difficult to book your most wanted vendors. Just make sure to discuss all coverages and limitations with them before reserving. And should vendors impose rate increase despite the promo when you book them, which may also be necessary, we've discussed this before, yung mga may perishables like food or the flowers or there's travel costs, at least you can discuss to keep the discount, as of course we don't want them to shell out from their pockets or their service or product may be sacrificed as well. Ito po yung sinasabi ko earlier, no? I think Ms. Sharon was saying about when you're trying to haggle for a discount with your supplier, it's also very important to note just the respect that we give our suppliers, in the sense that they do want to give you your dream wedding, but of course the reason that they are your supplier or that they are suppliers is because this is their livelihood. And when we do come at a rate or an agreed upon rate, it's kung kayo po bilang couple, isipin nyo rin na importante din na happy din po yung supplier nyo, kasi to be honest, of course, it's going to affect the output that they are committing. Very similar to ikaw as an employee maybe, or maybe if you have a business, di ba? Pag ganado ka, di ba? You give it your all when you are working, when you're working. So it's also a good way to think on that, parang to put yourself in the shoes of the supplier when you are booking your suppliers.
Yes. Oo. Ako lang, Rona, short application lang sa tip ni Miss Maria of Maria's Affairs ng Blessings from God. So, anong application ito? It could possibly be, you plan for a wedding, let's say, hindi siya peak season. An ordinary weekend, supposedly, let's say, September 25, no, a Saturday. But as we all know, alert level 4 and under the alert level 4 guideline, may restrictions pa rin on mass gatherings for weddings, yung mga wedding celebration. So, wala kang choice but to move the date. Okay, and then you decide na, okay, I wanna do it December, or sige, let's move it na lang to February of 2022. Now, as we all know, pagdating ng December, if you're dealing with the stylist, the florist, mas mataas po yung cost of the raw materials, the flowers. Okay? Or if February Valentine season, mas mataas po yun. So, there might be costs incurred for that. Kasi yun ang sinasabi ni Miss Maria na yung cost kasi sometimes magbigay tayo ng leeway doon. So yung again, yung balik tayo sa tip niya, ano yung hack doon? Ang hack doon, na-book mo na yung supplier and kung yun yung gusto mo, regardless of the change of date, you get to work with your dream supplier. Idadagdag ko lang dun sa hack na yon is maybe you can talk about yung alternatives. Maybe instead of, if you're doing it December, instead of the all imported roses, may option B tayo if we decide to do it on a peak season. Parang, ano yung, again, balik sa point mo, Miss Rona, ang hack mo naman na go local. So parang kabit-kabit talaga to. So reviewin niyo po to ha pag natapos tong episode na to. Kasi
Oo.
kabit-kabit ang mga points. Ayan.
Magpapatest kami. The joke lang. I want to say good morning to Ito. Ito has tuned in and is sending us 3 hearts. Morning!
Good morning, Ito. I saw some of the posts ng gown mo. Napakaganda. Please visit the Facebook page. Social media pages of Ito Gonzaga. Or better yet, bisitahin niyo po siya sa Wedding Expo Philippines. At meron po siya mga special packages for brides and grooms that will be booking with him.
Nako, isa pa yan sa mga namimiss ko. No, namimiss ko, should I say it on air? Namimiss kong rumampa. Pag nakikita ko yung damit ni Ito, parang, saan na pwedeng rumampa? Wala. Wala. Dito lang po
Yes.
sa hallway namin rumarampa. But
Yes.
before I distract myself, I'm gonna go to the next tip.
Balik tayo.
Yes, of path production, very related to wedding supplier. She's check. So before you settle with a certain supplier, always do your assignment to check the reviews from their past clients. Ayan, since we were talking about vendors and suppliers with Maria's Affairs, ito po yung tip naman ni Path Production and marami pa po siyang tips along the way. Ito ang hack naman namin for inspirations and themes and motifs is to sell or buy a pre-loved wedding gown, and renting is also an option. So minsan, I shared this in an article that's on inspirations.ph. No, sometimes we only think of saving money before the wedding. No, but I realized that you can actually also ito isa pa tong money hack is if you are willing to sell your wedding gown, kunwari papagawa ka ng gusto mong design, but you're not really that sentimental and it's something that you are willing to have somebody else wear. Also, if you are an advocate of being sustainable and you don't want it to just hang in your closet, ganyan. We've seen brides who have sold their wedding gowns. So parang it offsets the cost. And yun nga, it also helps with sustainability.
Yeah. Tama yan. Ron, I just want to mention yung kay Mark Hill of Path Production. He says, no, check. And he knows that by heart because si Mark is one of the busiest and popular siya sa mga couples. That's why yung couples would always leave reviews for their services, yung Path Production. So, alam niya what he is talking about. And importante yon to get reviews of previous couples na naka-experience nung service, nung suppliers na inaay ninyo. Parang character reference kapag nag-a-apply ka ng trabaho.
Or pag bumibili ka online, di ba? Tinitignan mo yung star
Yung
rate.
reviews, yes.
At saka yung reviews, kamusta ang packaging? Did it arrive on time? Tama ba? O miniature bang upuan ang nabili niya kahit na dapat upuan na regular yung bibili niya?
Oo.
Para hindi po mangyari sa inyo yon. Yun po
Yes.
nakakatulong ang reviews.
Reviews. Now, if medyo bago pa yung supplier that you are eyeing, it's understandable na wala pa masyadong reviews yan. So, instead of the couples na nahihingaan ninyo ng review, try to find out the suppliers that they have worked with in the past. So, pwede hindi fellow wedding suppliers, but yung suppliers na let's say if they've worked with a printer, no, yung mga ganon, they work with a transport service, and it's important to hear the feedback of the people that they have worked with because yung quality of relationship that they have with the suppliers would be a reflection of how they are as a professional.
Okay, ayan. So the next tip is also from Path Production. We're gonna run by some of their tips. quality versus quantity. So this is your dream wedding. Always look for quality suppliers than quantity. Don't settle for less. You deserve it and you deserve the best. Maganda, di ba? So, minsan kasi pag we try so hard na makatipid, napapagastos tayo because inuulit. Diba?
Yes.
Because either you don't get what you want, what you really wanted, or medyo nagkakaburulyaso for many different reasons. So this is one reason why quality versus quantity is a great tip if you want to save from the get-go.
Mhm.
Alright, another tip, ayan, ito yung sinasabi namin para hindi po tayo maging bridezilla, plan together
Yes.
because this is the best part of wedding planning. Ayan. Meron pa pong tips later on ang path production. Gusto ko yung last tip niya, no? Just to remind all of our couples. But for us, and this is something that Kim also mentioned, create a dedicated wedding email. And the reason that this is a hack is because matuturn off mo nga yung hindi
Mhm.
tayo sa work email mo or your daily emails that you have to open, but you can already discipline yourself or yourselves that ito lang po yung time that we are going to plan for our wedding, and then after that, cut off na. Okay, number 5, I think you're gonna hear this from all of our wedding planners and all our wedding coordinators. Delegate, delegate, delegate. All right. Delegating is really the key. I think it's the biggest hack, to be honest, when it comes to wedding planning, because you need to know that you can't do it alone, no matter
Yes.
size of your wedding. I know we always hear this, no, yung 10 lang naman kami, kami lang, pamilya ko lang. The truth is, we still need help, and we all need help. And not just because we're talking about wedding planning, but it's really so that you can enjoy your day. That's why delegating is so important. So it can be delegating to a wedding planner, which we do highly recommend, lalo yung mga legal work. Kung ayaw nyo pong lumabas at ayaw nyo pong masyadong problemahin yan, delegating is key. And of course, there's also delegating to your fiancé. Allow him to do some things that he likes to do para naman po mabawasan din yung what's on your plate, and at the same time, you are both enjoying. At hindi po tayo magsasabi ng, ako na lang po gumagawa ng lahat. Wala
Yes.
pong magawa.
Rona, I'd like to point out that when you delegate, especially to your fiancé, kailangan niyo pong i-verbalize. Huwag pong mag-delegate in your mind and i-expect niyo pong, can you read my mind? No, you have to convey to your fiancé. Tama ba mga grooms? Gagawin naman nila, just tell them what they should do. Okay? So, kasi magkaiba talaga tayong, parang tayo siguro mga babae, parang, di ba, read between the lines. Nag-hint
Naku,
na
wala.
ako eh. Wala
Oo,
yun. When you
wala.
delegate, you tell them exactly what you want them to handle. And how,
Yes.
parang,
Para hindi
oh,
din
ito,
natin sasabihin yung, kailangan ko pa bang sabihin yon? Dapat alam niya na. Sasabihin po
kailangan
namin
po.
sa inyo, hindi po nila alam.
Yes, kailangan niyo sabihin, ha, pag nag-delegate. Wag lang in your heart and in your mind. Kailangan
Yes,
sabihin.
clear. Ito, very important. Create plan B, C, and D, and include bad weather scenarios. So, bago pa po siya mangyari, meron na po kayong blueprint of what you can do depending on the situation, because we know it's a very fluid situation. You know, everything is constantly changing, and this is also why we have these hacks to make it easier for you. And Miss Christine Ongte of Kota Events, of course, has her own tips, and we're going to share this with you now.
Thinking of plan B in the pandemic, you have to brace yourself and you have to make sure that you can be able to face the battle in case that there's going to be a different scenario, change of date, change of venue, change of the size of the guest. So you just have to be ready, but always think positive and do not lose your cool. But having a small wedding or intimate wedding might be the most special wedding that you will ever have. So you have to make sure that you have the positive energy, positive mind, and just feel and enjoy the planning, even if it's like you're doing a plan B situation. So what is important is that you and your future husband or future wife will be able to celebrate your life being together as a married couple. Next tip is that you need to learn to lower your expectation as needed. For example, with your suppliers. So you have to manage your expectations, especially when you fail to notice that you're expecting too much from your supplier, from a service that when we ourselves not invest that much in the first place. So you have to learn how to let go as well, and you need to learn how to trust with your suppliers. And with regards to your guest list, or with regards to your guests, there are things that really beyond your control. Sometimes your guests cannot commit at the moment, especially during this pandemic. All you have to do is just make a plan A and a plan B and a plan C. So you have to strategize during the planning of your wedding. In that way, you might not, you will technically you're anticipating things in the beginning, so you won't feel stressed. The bottom line here is that when you get married, guys, it's really more on fun, more on relaxing, more on celebrating your love for each other. It's not about really work. So do not think your wedding planning as a work. So it's really more like enjoying it, make fun of the planning, and then you have to trust this your book suppliers. You have to trust your timeline as well. Make sure that you have your own schedule when it comes to plan your wedding. Do not overthink and do not overplan, so that your expectations during the planning situation is manageable. And finally, do not sweat the small things. Just focus on your priority, focus what you really need, trust your suppliers. There's no such thing as a perfect wedding. So especially you have to trust your wedding planner, because they're the one who's gonna um, uh, move you around and tell you what would be the step one and the step two and the step three, and everything will follow as long as you were able to have a credible planner. And all you need to do is just enjoy the process and leave everything to God, most especially, and everything, and of course leave everything to the professionals that you hired for your event. So they're the one who will tell you and guide you as far as what you think that you should need to do, what are the items that you have to prepare, and what are the situations, especially for during this pandemic, that can be done. So that's my tip.
Diba? Ganda ng tips ni Miss Christine. Sorry, you're on mute, Miss Sharon. But I like what she said, that your wedding planning should be fun and you shouldn't look at it as work.
That's right. Oo, may palakpak pa effect ako, naka-mute naman pala ako. But gusto ko lang talaga palakpakan ang ating mga wedding planners. And of course, Christine Ongte, alam naman natin si Christine, no? More than, I think, 20 years of wedding planning experience yan under her belt. Kilalang kilala siya when it comes to wedding planning, highly experienced. And we'd like to thank her also for sharing itong wealth of knowledge niya na nakuha over the span of years that she has been doing wedding planning.
Yes, and I wanna say hi, of course, Miss Christine, if you're watching. Hindi po yan guest dito sa Love Wins Live Forum, no? She's been with us for so many episodes, and she's actually one of the first, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first wedding planners who was able to do pandemic weddings back when we were just guessing how are we going to move forward, how are we going to do weddings. I remember she had the story na nagpadala po sila ng food sa over 100 families, I think.
Mhm.
And talagang yung Zoom weddings na tinatawag natin, no, with the Zoom reception, isa po siya sa mga una na
Naka-experience.
nakapag-execute. Yes. So thank you, Miss Christine, for giving us your advice on creating a plan B, C, and D. And I do have to say that kung yung plan B lang po, nako-confuse na kayo kung paano nyo gagawin, hire a wedding planner kasi alam po nila kung paano gawin si D, C, D, E, F, G hanggang Z.
Yes, hack din yon. Importante that you get the right suppliers for your wedding, especially the wedding planner. Now, more than ever, we realize how crucial the role of a wedding planner is during this time of the pandemic. Pero importante yung choice of supplier na gagawin ninyo. Hack yan. Hack para sa mga brides.
And so the last tip that we want to leave with you before we go is this.
Yan.
Remember what's important and that something is bound to go wrong in your wedding. Okay,
Yes.
we will break it to you gently and say that no matter what kind of planning you do, meron at merong magiging mali, or there will be a problem, or something will not go as planned on your wedding day. But it doesn't mean that it's not gonna be the perfect wedding.
Or sometimes it doesn't happen the way you want it. It comes out more beautiful pa nga. Diba? Yun. Rona, pwede ba akong magbigay rin ng hack for themes and
Yes,
motives?
please.
Kasi di ba nag-organize din naman
Oo
ako ng
naman.
events. Ayan. Ako, ang hack at ang tip na gusto ko lang iwanan sa inyo ngayong umaga, two things. Mag-attend po kayo ng Themes and Motives online bridal fair because there you will find the suppliers that we're talking about. Professional, legitimate, and competitive ang pricing ng mga suppliers na kasali sa Wedding Expo Philippines online. Our commitment is safe wedding planning, no bogus, no virus. Second wedding planning hack na pwede niyo pong gawin. Spend your morning, afternoon, or evening with us every Saturday here at Love Wins Live Forum para po madagdagan pa po yung mga hacks na malalaman ninyo ang mga tips sa wedding planning because that is our commitment to you. Every weekend, bigyan po kayo ng ideas and inspiration to plan your dream wedding.
Ayan, so thank you for joining us again for another episode of Love Wins Live Forum. Sakto, it's been 1 hour of us sharing these wedding hacks to save you from having more stress, to save money and to save time. So if you haven't shared this with anybody yet, I'm telling you, share it now. Share it with a couple who is going to find this useful. And we hope to see you again here next week at the Love Wins Live Forum. This is Rana and Miss Sharon, and we want to say thank you. Stay safe, apat dapat, at magpabakuna na po tayo. Bye-bye!